welcome to College Football Time with Avery and Miguel. What a weekend it was for the first round of the college football playoffs. I am satisfied with what I saw, but we're gonna start before we get into the four games that we're playing this first round. Avery, um, I know it's with a heavy heart, but share with us to kick things off, what we discussed before we started recording.
Yeah, thank you, Miguel. On Saturday morning, my uncle Marvin Johnson passed away. He was probably our biggest fan when we started college football time and when we did March Madness or just when we did any video regarding sports. He was very enthusiastic. Like I told you before, he was very happy that we were able to connect and network and do this. And anytime I sent him a video, he was very uh, upbeat. Always gave us comments and good feedback that I always try, at least if possible, to elude that, knowing that he enjoyed what we did. So thank you, Uncle Marvin, for giving us, not just me, but also, Miguel, the insight and the drive to keep doing what we do.
And God rest his soul to your uncle Avery. And when you told me shortly before we got here, I was gonna say, you sure you want to go through with it? Because there's always tomorrow, and we can always do this. But you said this is what he would have wanted. We would talk about it, and unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to meet him even through Zoom. But the fact that he always tuned in for us, put out content for college football and even March Madness, that says a lot. And even if you could reach just one person through what we do, you're doing great. You're reaching somebody. Even if it means just that one person, you're doing your job. So, and even sometimes when I get comments on YouTube Shorts and things like that about about anything that we do, and those things, keeps you going. It keeps you going to continue to do more. And it's like I've always said, it's been a joy that I got to meet you, network with you, and we're just gonna continue going this until God knows when. But it's always fun to do college football time and March Madness with you, and we gotta appreciate the small and simple things that we have in life.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, Avery, on a lighter note, our teams won this weekend, Alabama, Miami. First off, Alabama Friday night, they took care of business, and now the test will get tougher.
They will get
But I
Indiana.
mean, yeah, but I'm actually looking forward to that game. That's
That
gonna be fascinating, and it's the Rose Bowl.
absolutely. Not only did Alabama erase a 17-point deficit to beat Oklahoma in Oklahoma, now they're going to get back in the lab, see what they can do because now I'm like, you're facing the number one seed. Come on, gentlemen. You took down the Sooners. Like literally Friday night, they said you were dead in the water. Now you are not only facing the number one seed, you are facing a Heisman Trophy winner. So you need to prove that what happened on Friday was not a fluke. Because on paper, New Year's Day, that is absolutely like a banger game to tune into. So I definitely applaud the Crimson Tide. I mean, also, Oklahoma, you had control, but it's almost like you couldn't just finish off Alabama in that respect. because now Alabama is facing Indiana, and on paper, that is a really good game that definitely anyone should tune into.
Oh, yeah, and it's the Rose Bowl, prestigious event. Alabama, Indiana, can't wait for that one. Miami, Texas A&M, what a defensive masterclass we witnessed, Avery. Um, well, I love seeing great defensive games. I love it. Well, some people they prefer offense, a more dominant offensive game, but I admire defense. And Miami Hurricanes defense, look where they were last year, and look where they are today in that defense. Corey Heatherman, what he has done as a defensive coordinator for this group has been sensational. Ruben Bain Jr. has been the leader of this defense, and he came into this game with a lot of motivation. And if you saw that post game, he had that screenshot saved. He was listening exactly the disrespect that Texas A&M offensive lineman was saying, and Texas A&M, one of the best offensive teams in the nation, averaged 36 points a game, not even a single touchdown, only 3 points, only 3 points. Malachi Tony, he had a good game. Mark Fletcher Jr. had an incredible game. But if you have to give the game ball, you give it to the entire Miami Hurricanes defense and Corey Heatherman too. But everyone that's connected to defense deserves the game ball for that.
Yeah.
And
Absolute.
now they're moving on, and they'll be taking on Ohio State. When I think about Ohio
Ooh.
State, I think
If
about 2002 national title.
Man, if
Go ahead.
you if you, the first two teams to advance, and that's correct. It's not like we're talking them in order. Alabama won Friday night. Miami won first thing, well, like mid Saturday afternoon. The first teams to advance are literally playing, in my opinion, the two best teams in college football right now. Their Big Ten championship game was probably game of the year, especially on how it ended. So Miami, definitely. And we've kind of said it all year with the Hurricanes. Their defense is their selling point. You have to look out for their defense. And there are certain aspects where you look at they look at their wins, and you can tell that that defense stepped up. And man, watching that game was like literally watching like a suspenseful movie. Because you're talking about both teams were 3-3 up until about 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So not only did you watch a good game, but you watched a masterclass in how defenses shut down really high-powered offenses. And now that the Hurricanes are moving on, how do you how do you take that and use it against the Ohio State Buckeyes, who only put up 10 points in their last game? But you got to be careful because the last time Ohio State lost was against Michigan, and then they just went on a tear and won the national championship. So Miami, absolutely, they should be excited. They should be proud of themselves. Again, now you need to get in the lab. You need to find out what you did against the Aggies. Will that work against the Buckeyes? And just another team. Now this is a New Year's Eve game. And what a better way to ring in the new year than watching Miami and Ohio State.
Cotton Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, Miami, Ohio State. This is the biggest Miami Ohio State game since, in my opinion, since the 2002 national title game. In my opinion, it's the biggest one since that day. And both teams, they're great defensive teams. Um, Ohio State obviously has the bigger weapon on offense, in my opinion. But hey, It's only one game. Whoever wins goes on. Whoever loses, bye
All
bye.
it takes is one game.
One game. One
All it
game.
takes is one game.
Oregon beat James Madison, but I give James Madison a lot of credit for never giving up in
Oh
that
yeah.
second half.
And not
Despite how
only
much of a
that, they
bloodbath
didn't
it
beat
was.
the spread. They beat the spread. They didn't lose
Yep.
by 21,
Yeah.
So at least you got to give them that. They
Yep.
lost
Yep.
by 17, but man, that was a hard fought loss. That's weird to say. And I know I mentioned that I thought Tulane would be more of the underdog to get it, but no, it was James Madison. James Madison went into Oregon and said, if you're gonna beat us, you better take us down, but we're gonna be fighting and clawing for everything. That was that was what we kind of think of we want in a college football game. We want offense, we want high-powered, plays. We want you know, a a good balance, if you can say balance, as far as teams. And the score really doesn't dictate it, but man, James Madison, they were like, okay, we know we're underdogs, but if we can't, we're gonna fight like, a cornered dog. And they did. They tried to pull out everything. They tried to pull out everything. But, Oregon was just too much. But at the same time, I'm like, Oregon, you dropped 34 points from a 12th seed. So, granted Oregon, they move on, but they're playing Texas Tech. If you're Texas Tech, you're like Texas Tech is going to take their mascot moniker to heart. The Red Raiders against the Ducks. Texas Tech already knows what they want to do. Texas Tech, in my opinion, is of four teams that had the bye, they're the most dangerous one, I think. And the fact that Oregon's going to play them, man, I think, and this is the game that's playing in my backyard, if you will, in the Orange Bowl at Hard Rock. That's gonna be the game, New Year's Day. That could be, I think, overtime game on paper. Granted, we're still about a week and a half away, but man, that just looks good on paper. It does.
I want to correct myself. I said that Alabama Indiana game was Rose Bowl. No, the Rose Bowl will be Ole Miss versus Georgia, which that should be fascinating. But the Orange Bowl is Alabama and Indiana. Oregon and Texas Tech will play that same game, the same day, January
No, no,
3rd,
no, you're no,
and it's
you're
gonna be
correct.
noon.
No, 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 you're correct. Alabama and Indiana is the Rose Bowl. Oregon and Texas Tech is Hard Rock, so that would be our Orange Bowl. And Georgia is the Sugar Bowl. You were correct. You were correct.
So yeah,
You were correct.
but yeah, I know that a lot of people, I mean, YouTube is always filled with comments, but a lot of people were trolling Tulane and James Madison because of the way they perform. How dare that they got in and look how they performed. Notre Dame would have been a much better um ideal, but Tulane, they had a successful season. I give them credit. But
Yeah,
Ole Miss, I just feel like they came in this game with a lot of chip on their shoulder. They're pissed.
yeah,
They feel like
absolutely.
so I feel like they took out their frustration on Tulane. But honestly, Avery, one of the most beautiful things I saw about that game is the aftermath. The fans chanting the head coach's name. That was such a feel-good moment for me. If I'm the coach,
Yeah,
I mean,
especially
you know what that
now.
is. You know what that feeling that is
Yes.
when you have a
Oh,
bunch of people
absolutely.
and this is
Absolutely.
your
I mean,
and this is your first season, and I mean, you come into the situation like this. If you're the coach, that should add more fuel to a fire to come in next season
oh yeah.
and say this program is the real deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Ole Miss not only for all the noise that was happening. Tulane came in, Ole Miss took care of business, and a part of me wanted Ole Miss to win considering what had happened with their coaching situation. But knowing that their head coach is saying, hey, we know what we're hearing. We want to focus on the game and make that the only reason we continue on. And not only that, they beat Tulane. And yes, congratulations to Tulane. They had a great season. And as much as people want to say about Notre Dame, coulda, woulda, shoulda. But either way, Ole Miss is now facing Georgia, which that's a good old SEC fight. Another good old SEC fight on New Year's Day. And that's going to be the Sugar Bowl. And again, I mentioned this before. Interesting how certain things come about. You had Tulane playing Ole Miss. Tulane is in Louisiana. And now Ole Miss is going to New Orleans to play Georgia. Well, well, well. Well, well, well. Good on you, Rebels. Good on you.
The Rebels only have one loss this season, and that came against Georgia. And if you remember that game, Avery, Ole Miss had them, but in that second half, the Bulldogs, credit to them, incredible comeback. So I'm really looking forward to this game. And Ole Miss has a chance. They have a chance. So I
Absolutely.
can't wait. That
Right.
that's one of those games I'm looking forward to.
Absolutely. Right now, of the four next bowl games, Old Miss and Indiana are kind of having the best odds right now. Old Miss is only down favored by 7. I mean, and I believe they lost to Georgia by 12, I think. So it's there. The groundwork is there for Ole Miss. So, granted, we're still a bit of ways for, kind of a preview of this, but as far as, looking at it, it's almost like it's the underdog show. You have a 10 seed, you have 9 seeds, 6 and 5. You know, if you're looking at it, yeah, already on paper, you're looking at these top 4 seeds. You're like, hey, we earned the bye. We're going to take care of business. But at the same time, and we've kind of talked about this before, as Americans, we kind of like that underdog. And man, looking at these higher seeds that got in, especially Miami and Alabama, man, it's like I said, they can do the funniest thing. You know, Ole Miss can do the funniest thing playing Georgia. Miami can do the funniest thing playing Ohio State. I mean, and this is why we love college football. We said it this entire year. This entire college football season has been nothing but surprise after surprise after surprise, and it is exciting to watch. It is absolutely exciting to watch. And we still have other bowl games, and I know we're kind of focused on, the playoffs, but with other bowl games, man, they're just going to be so exciting to watch leading up to the second round of bowl games for playoff. Because I've said it before, and I think we both agree, a bowl game for school gives them recognition. Being invited to a bowl not only gives recognition to the school, but recognition to the players. So, again, throwing Notre Dame in the conversation, Notre Dame, petty as they are, shot themselves in the foot because I don't think I mentioned if they took a bowl, they would have played BYU. And on paper, that would have been a fabulous bowl. A fabulous bowl. Because you're talking about two teams that kind of got hung out in the playoff and both have chip on their shoulders, but that's more like a what if scenario. But now leading up into, the second round games, man, we got some bowl games that just look absolutely fabulous. You're like, and to my knowledge, aside from certain teams here or there, quarterbacks entering the transfer portal, nothing major has come out in college football where you're having a whole bunch of players sit. So I think if the schools have now figured it out, the NCAA has figured it out. You want to play a bowl. You want to showcase that team, and what better way to do it? Because some of these more interesting bowls are like right after Christmas. Even a few bowl games that are right before Christmas, I'm like, you know what? I need to watch that bowl. I need to see what this team's all about. I've heard good things. But then right after Christmas and going up until New Year's Eve, you got some other bowls. And man, it's exciting. It's exciting to watch.
You read my mind because that's where I was going to go into next. So let me mention some of the games that will be played this week. Starting today, we have Washington State versus Utah State. That game will be at 2. I'm gonna try to put out this video by at least 1 or 1:30. So we have Washington State versus Utah State. That game's at 2 on ESPN. And it's the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. All right. And then tomorrow we have 3 games. We have the Toledo versus Louisville at 2. We have Boca Raton Bowl, Western Kentucky versus Southern Miss at 5:30. And then the New Orleans Bowl, which is UNLV versus Ohio at 9. All right. And then
Okay.
Wednesday, Christmas Eve, the Sheraton Hawaiian Bowl, which is California versus Hawaii
Yeah.
at 8. That one is there's
What
something
what
about the
better
matchup
way to
is
watch two
intriguing.
teams in the Aloha State? Yes, and definitely that
Exactly.
that that Boca Raton Bowl again in my backyard as well, just south of me, about an hour and a half. Toledo, Louisville, again, both teams, good seasons, good seasons. Louisville probably just messed up a whole bunch of people this year. They started off, kind of shaky, but now bowl game, right before Christmas, another good way to uh make themselves visible, for the future. But we both hit it on the head right before Christmas. We got some really good bowl games to look at.
Well, Avery, Christmas Day, which is Thursday. I don't know about your availability. Me personally, I don't do anything on the holidays anymore. It's just I don't follow traditions or anything like that anymore. So whether you can on Thursday or even Friday morning, which is December 26th, we can do a recap of the games that we played between today all the way to Wednesday, as well as the previews for this weekend, which is we have 3 games on Friday, and we have
A good slew of games
oof,
on Saturday.
oh my God, yeah.
A good slew of games
I'm
on
gonna
Saturday. Friday morning would be picture perfect.
yeah, I was
Friday
gonna say
morning
that
would
yeah.
be picture perfect because yes, Friday, Saturday. Oh, we could pick and choose. We can pick and choose who we want to talk about.
Yeah, Friday morning is definitely gonna be one of those long content that we have to make, but it's worth it because it's bowl season. It's
Absolutely,
bowl season.
absolutely.
Well, Avery, thank you for doing this. And again, my heart goes out to you and your family during this difficult time. And as for the rest of you, thank you for tuning in to College Football Time. Avery Miguel. Like I said, guys, take chances on bowl games. I don't care who's whining, complaining. I don't care who's not suiting up. Watch the ball games. We value games, especially those teams that don't get enough recognition. Those players, there's players that they stand out in bowl season. Watch, watch, and watch. Don't listen to what sports media people say that, oh, ball games, they're just not exciting anymore. That may be some truth to it, but still, that doesn't mean that you should avoid it. Watch it, guys. Watch it.
Yes, you have some teams that when they get that bowl invite, it's not just, a paycheck. It's also the visibility and recognition. And, we've kind of said it for a few years, some of these bowl names, are kind of are kind of a bit crazy, but it's interesting to see how they've turned them into not just a good marketing tool, but also, just a great play where wherever the two schools are going, that bowl enjoying themselves. One of the favored ones over the past few years, you mentioned, the Idaho Potato Bowl, but also the Pop-Tarts Bowl, which is going to be played on Saturday, I believe. So you can't tell me that bowls aren't exciting when you have at least, the showcase and the providers of them making them not just accessible but very um cordial for not just, students, teams, alumni, anyone that's especially want to pay their hard-earned money to see a bowl game. And, in the future, you and I, we've talked about it. I hope one day we get to do a bowl game. Like I said, living in Florida, one day hopefully I'll get the chance. Like we have nine this bowl season. So eventually, when that comes about, I'm going to just be absolutely enthusiastic for whatever college I'm seeing, to just enjoy the moment. And that's the key thing. They are enjoying the moment. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to us. Merry Christmas.